Hello, hi everyone, I'm Sandhya. In this lecture, in this video, we are going to deal with reproduction in plants. Reproduction in plants. Particularly in this video, we are going to study about the modes of reproduction, asexual reproduction. So what are they? In detail, we are going to study now. First of all, we should know what is reproduction. The name itself says reproduction. Production means again and again producing. Production means producing. Reproduction means again and again producing. So reproduction. So reproduction it can be defined as a biological process. It can be defined as a biological process in which one organism gives rise to young ones. The young ones is called as offspring, similar to itself. So reproduction can be defined as a biological process in which one organism gives rise to young ones, offspring, which is similar to itself. And this offspring, it grows, it matures, and in turn produces a new offspring. It grows, it matures, and in turn gives rise to a new offspring. So this cycle of birth, growth, and death. So the birth, growth, and death is maintained by reproduction. Reproduction enables the continuity of the species generation after generation. So this reproduction enables the continuity of the species generation after generation. So here one particular organism is going to give rise to a new offspring. That offspring, it grows, it matures, and it dies. So that the cycle of birth, growth, and death is again continued. It is continued, anamata. So this reproduction maintains the continuity of the species. So this and the period of from birth to death, the period from birth to death, that period of the organism is called as lifespan. The period of the organism is called as lifespan. Okay, and the lifespan of different living organisms is different. Different organisms, different living organisms are going to have different lifespan. For example, if you take Wolffia, the smallest plant, Wolffia, it is having the lifespan of 2 weeks. It is having the lifespan of 2 weeks. For example, if you take the banyan tree, banyan tree is going to have a lifespan of 300 plus years. For example, if you take a banana plant, the lifespan is 2 years. If you take the example of rice plant, it is 3 to 7 months. 3 to 7 months. Then if you take the example of rose plant, it is 5 years. So different living organisms are having different lifespans. And the continuity of the species is maintained by the reproduction process. This reproduction process is divided into asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. You might be wondering what is asexual reproduction. The name itself suggests. Here, when offspring is produced by a single parent, with or without the involvement of the gametes, is called as with or without the involvement of the gametes is called as asexual reproduction. Here, a single parent is involved, and with or without the involvement of the gametes is called as asexual reproduction. Then when two parents are involved, let me write down. Here a single parent is involved and no involvement of gametes. Here two parents are involved and opposite sexes are involved and they participate in the reproductive process, and they involve the fusion of male and female gametes. So such type of reproduction is called as sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, a single parent is involved and no involvement of gametes. Sexual reproduction, two parents are involved or of opposite sexes, and fusion of or involvement of male and female gametes takes place. This is about the types of reproduction. In this lecture, in this video, we are going to deal with asexual reproduction. Okay. So this asexual reproduction are of many types. This asexual reproduction of many types. The types are fission, budding, sporulation, or you can say by spores. Then parthenogenesis is also there. Then fragmentation, then vegetative propagation. Okay, so asexual reproduction is a type of reproduction when offspring is produced by a single parent with or without the involvement of the gamete formation. The reproduction is said to be asexual reproduction. Then first coming on to fission. Fission is mostly common in monorans, protistans, where single cell organisms are there. Where a parent cell is going to divide into two. Two equal halves will be present. Okay, like this. Where a single parent is going to develop into two offsprings. Two equal halves are going to be present. So such type of asexual reproduction is fission. This is mainly described as many fissions are there: binary fission, multiple fission. But here, this is about binary fission, where two offsprings are produced. Examples are monorans and protistans. Then, and we can give the examples: euglena and bacteria. Okay, this is about two equal halves are present in fission. When coming on to the budding, what happens? An unequal offspring is produced from the parent plant. This is mostly seen in yeast. Okay, suppose if this is the yeast, a small outgrowth is going to come occur. Then it is going to develop into a bigger one. Then when it detaches, it grows into a new organism. Like this. Here, unequal offspring is going to be produced. This is about the budding, which is seen in the yeast. So small buds are produced that remain attached initially to the parent cell, which eventually gets detached from the parent and develop into a new organism. That is about the budding. Coming on to sporulation. Sporulation means the asexual reproduction is going to take place by spores. Okay, in fungi and some plants, and in some plants we are going to observe the sporulation. Means spores are responsible for the production of a new offspring. Okay, so like for example chlamydomonas, the motile spores are produced. The motile spores, which are called as zoospores. Okay, zoospores. Zoospores are responsible for the reproduction. Then in some plants, non-motile spores are also present. Then in fungi, with the help of conidiospores, the reproduction is going to occur. The fungi, mostly the example is penicillium. And in bryophytes and pteridophytes, the spores are going to develop into the gametophyte, the haploid stage. This is about the sporulation. Then fragmentation. Coming on to fragmentation. Fragmentation, what happens? Because of any stress, because of any physical physical stress, or because of any barrier, if any barrier comes, the organism immediately divides into two fragments. This fragmentation. That means the body may split or break, get separated into small portions, and each fragment thus develops into a mature individual. That fragmentation, the splitting of the body may take place because of the physical one, or any stress or any barrier. Fragmentation. This fragmentation is, you can see in all algae and bryophytes and fungi. You can see the fragmentation. And also one more thing is there, Gemme are the small spores which are produced in the Gemme cups. They are present mainly in the liverworts, in bryophytes. Okay, in liverworts, that is in bryophytes, these Gemme are present. These Gemme are present in the Gemma cups. Okay, like for example in Merchantia, we have seen, no, in Merchantia, like this. Here small Gemme will be coming, and here the root-like structures, rhizoids, will be coming. They develop when they detach from this plant, from this bryophyte, and touch the substratum. It develops the rhizoids and develops into a new Merchantia. It detaches. When this detaches from the parent plant and falls on the substratum and develops into a new Merchantia. So these are the Gemme, which are useful for the asexual reproduction, which are present in liverworts. Coming on to vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation is also a type of asexual reproduction. It is also a type of asexual reproduction where any part of the plant body involves in the reproduction. It can be leaf, it can be root, it can be stem, it can be branch, it can be anything. Any part of the plant body will be involved in the reproduction, vegetative propagation. So we can say that vegetative propagation is a type of asexual reproduction. All vegetative propagations are asexual reproductions, but all asexual reproductions are not vegetative propagation. And in this part has to get detached from the parent plant body and fall onto the substratum and then develop into a new plant. Whereas asexual reproduction is a different one, where spores are there, budding, fission like that is there. So vegetative propagation, in detail we will study about vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation can be takes place by runner, sucker, stolon, offset, then you can say rhizome, comb, tuber, bulbils, then vegetative leaves, bulbils, reproductive leaves, reproductive buds or reproductive leaves. So these are the different types of vegetative propagation, and because of the vegetative propagation, whatever offsprings are obtained, they are called as propagals, vegetative propagals, and these are the offsprings. Propagals, and they are clones. Clones means exact Xerox copies. They look similar to that of the parent plant. So runner we have studied in the subaerial stem modification. The runners are nothing but they are going to just run on the soil surface, and wherever it touches the ground, it is going to develop the adventitious roots. When it detaches from the parent plant, it develops into a new plant. Sucker, the underground plant is, this is the plant, no? The underground part of the plant is going to grow obliquely upwards and become aerial, and when it detaches from the parent plant, it develops into a new plant. That is sucker. Stolon, when the aerial branch grows downwards and touches the soil and develops into a the aerial branch which grows downwards, and when it touches the ground, it develops into adventitious roots, and when it becomes aerial, such type of thing is nothing but the, when it detaches from the parent plant, it develops into a new plant. That is a stolon. Offset is present in hydrophytes, like for example pistia, iconia, water hyacinth. So same as that of runner, but runner is present in soil, offset is present in water surface. So on the water surface, the stem is going to grow, and when it detaches from the parent plant, it develops into a new plant. Rhizome is an underground stem modification which grows horizontally. Examples are curcuma longa, ginger, Zingiber officinalis, all those things. Okay, and how can we differentiate from that of the root? By the presence of nodes and internodes. At the nodes, what happens? At the nodes, the adventitious roots are going to arise. So if you see a ginger, it is going to be like this, isn't it? It is going to be like this. It is going to be like this. So this ginger, Gingiber officinalis, these are the nodes. So what happens at the nodes? The adventitious roots are this. So when this part gets detached from the parent body, and when it is sowed, or when it is kept in under unfavorable conditions, it develops into a new plant. Rhizome. Then com example, colocasia. This is an underground stem modification which grows vertically. Like this, colocasia. Here the bud. So here the adventitious roots develops like this, and when favorable conditions are there, when favorable conditions are there, when it gets detached from that parent body, that particular part develops into a new plant. Then tuber. A very good example is potato, stem tuber, potato, Solanum tuberosum, potato, Solanum tuberosum, like this. So these are the nodes. The nodes of potato are described as eyes. These eyes are useful for vegetative propagation. And these eyes, when you take this portion and sow and provide all favorable conditions, it develops into a new potato. So it is useful for vegetative propagation. These nodes are nothing but the eyes of potato. Then coming on to bulb, onion. Bulb is very good example is onion. This is the discoid stem, adventitious roots. These are the leaves, fleshy leaves, or the storage leaves, isn't it? So this is also useful for vegetative propagation. Bulbils are nothing but the axillary buds or the terminal buds. When they detach from the parent plant, then when favorable conditions are there, they develop into a new plant. A very good example is Dioscorea and agave. Okay, bulbils. Reproductive leaves, very good example is Bryophyllum. Bryophyllum, the leaf will present. The leaf is present like this, no? So at the notches of the leaf margin, the buds are present. These buds are nothing but the epiphyllous buds. These buds are the epiphyllous buds. When the favorable conditions are there, these buds falls onto the soil, they develop into a new plant. These buds are nothing but the epiphyllous buds which are present on in the notches of the leaf margins. These buds, when they get detached from the parent body, develop into a new plant. That is a vegetative propagation. Reproductive leaves, which can be seen in Bryophyllum. So this is about the asexual reproduction. Thank you.